Hello everybody and welcome to Health Heroines, the Easter edition. Today is Easter Monday, so I hope you had a wonderful Easter. And of course the festival that was behind Easter, that was adopted by the Christians, was all about new birth, new experiences, new life. So we leave winter behind and we move into spring. So lots and lots of good energy flowing through the veins today, hopefully. So how are you today, Marie?
I'm good, thank you. I've had a great Easter and looking forward to our sessions. And as usual, I want to thank everybody for being here, for taking the time to listen. And I love being a part of a whole of the collective feeling. I can really feel it. So I love our sessions. So looking forward to this.
Great.
Yeah. So have you any ideas what we should do, what our session should be about today?
Well, the only thing, because I've had a week off, which is wonderful, but the only thing that really occurred to me today was I had a message from a client in Germany and she was saying, oh no, I've been trying to persuade my mom for a whole 6 months not to do the thing that I don't want her to do. And she did it and I'm devastated. So I think that really relates to something you brought up a week ago about trying to control other people's actions or trying to make them do what we want them to do. So that was just one thought that I had. What about you?
Yes, I have had, although my sessions have been quite, been a variation of sessions. Whenever I was out walking today, I thought about this and I thought there is one theme, like a red thread through all my sessions this week or last week. And it's about personal responsibility.
Wonderful.
Which is a little bit what you said. Do we really take responsibility for ourselves or do we go to somebody else all the time? My inner wisdom isn't, I'm not listening to that, so please take care of me. Whoever it is, that might be anybody. But do you really take personal responsibility for our physical, emotional, spiritual health?
Yeah, that's a fantastic subject. And I have a different client in Germany who, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? And I've, in the beginning, I started answering the questions and now I'm just like, well, what do you think? Because I can't make decisions on somebody else's best interests. So I agree. I think that's a perfect way, especially with the Easter energy, which is all about a new way of doing it. So I love that. I love that session. Okay. So I feel like starting, if that's okay.
I think you should.
Thank you. So, do I have permission to work on the subject of personal responsibility for the collective? I do. Well, I'm very strongly drawn as I'm going into this subject to my esophagus. And for those of you that this may be the first time that you watch us do these sessions, for me personally, my body shows me the area that I need to work on by hurting or by tickling or by going hot or cold. So I'm representing the collective consciousness with my body at this time. So anyway, as I tune into my esophagus, what I'm hearing is that our collective power, not sure what that means, has been stolen from us in a very slowly, drip kind of way. We've had our ability to make our own decisions and to trust ourselves. And it feels like it's been stolen from the very thing for me that swallows life and food and nourishes us. When we eat food, it goes through the esophagus into the stomach. So there's something about having our power stolen from us. And I'm not talking about today, I'm talking about all the way through what I would call media influence. It feels like that's what I'm hearing. So, you know, and if I want to take a step aside and do a little bit of a caveat, certainly in the UK where I am, you go to the doctor, you say, please cure me. The doctor gives you something to cure you, whatever the word is, maybe not cure, and you go away. And in that, what we're talking about is personal responsibility. We don't think about what would be best for me, or should I do this, or should I change the way I eat hamburgers every day, or should I stop smoking, or should I go outside? We don't take responsibility. We look to, in this case, the doctor to tell us what we should do. Okay, so that was a bit of a side, just to say that we haven't really, we've lost our own connection because it's been stolen from us, is what I'm hearing, with our own sense of personal power. And what I want to do is link that to our sense of personal responsibility in the navel chakra. And I'm feeling in the navel chakra, which is around about your tummy button, if you aren't aware of what your chakras are. It's like there's a big thread that's drawn from, which is taking, and it's connected to, and as a collective, it's different from individuals, but I'm just saying I'm connected into all sorts of other organizations and, you know, school, church, religion, all these different groups that I have as an individual in the collective, given my power to. And with that, I'm feeling the emotions of shame and guilt and fear. There's some grief. And then I would, oh, that's so interesting. So then I want to link that back into my heart. And I feel as though if I was looking into a room that was really dusty and dirty and horrible and hadn't been looked in for 30 years, somewhere in the back of the room, if I look hard enough, I can find my sense of self. Like, oh, that's giving me goosebumps. So I would have to really go into my heart and look and pick up, but somewhere in this dusty old room is how I'm seeing it. In my heart is who I really am. Oh, that's giving me goosebumps. So it's hidden behind all that junk and all those conditioning, I suppose, and all those belief systems, and as I'm tuning into that sense of my true self, my true sense of self, it's like my back wants to stand up a bit more. My head wants to be held higher. It feels like my pride is able to return. So a lack of pride before I connect with that. Okay, anything further? No, I'm putting that into a parcel. I don't feel I need to link that to anything. Am I giving that to Marie? Yes, I am. Okay.
Thank you. So do I need to do anything else on Caroline's parcel? No, I'm getting no, a very strong no. So, but it's like a bubble is just, it's nearly like you, as if you're blowing a balloon up, one bubble coming up just next to yours. So we're doing a parallel session, a parallel form, not session, formula. And I'm seeing a lot of families here. I don't know where this is going. I'm just seeing a lot of families, you know, mommy, daddy, and children, or different constellations of families. So I want to link this to, there's a parcel within the parcel. containing our hips and our knees. And I want to look at the smaller chakras in our hips and our knees. And the knees are nearly get like rattlesnakes. They're really rattling. They're full of fear. You know, I'm afraid of doing this. I'm afraid of doing that. You know, nearly like you know, see a cartoon. And it's as if I'm linking diagonally and straight up, you know, straight across each knee to each knee, each, you know, right hip to left hip, and also diagonally, so that, and straight up and down. I'm sure you know what I mean. So that you have connected in every way. And the hips are very much about being supported and trusting, you know, trust what we are, that we are standing in our own power. So this is about being fearful of our own power, being fearful of what we are, not what we are capable of, but but how unsafe we would feel if we didn't have all these other people, like you mentioned, to go to ask for help. And I'm nearly seeing like a hand, please help me, please help me. Mm. And it doesn't matter how many people reach out a hand, there's not one single cure for each person. That's just so important. You need to look at each individual, but it's like the whole collective is just reaching out one hand. Help, help, help. Okay, so I want to remove the fear from the knees. And I just want to blow it up. Just so, just goes away from the knees, and the knees stop rattling. And we get a bigger sense of peace in our hips. So that's the parcel of that. Linking that parcel to our 5 senses and doing a sub-session on our 5 senses, where I'm coming down to, I'm feeling really as if I'm ready to cry here. Because my authenticity is being taken away. I'm coming to like early, this is like 2-3 months old, where we maybe know that we need a cuddle, or we know that we're hungry, we know that we don't want that, or we don't want this, but we want that, and we're being told, no, you don't. You know, we're not being understood, and we're being told already then, wow, what a really funny sensation there. We're already at that age being told what is best for us. So it's like our inner wisdom is slowly being taken away, and we're losing our authenticity. So I'm in a sub-session, active memory. Active memory is something that has a charge in our body. 2 months old, 2-3 months old. And I want to go into the heart of the collective, to the heart, the deepest level of our heart. And I want to remove that belief system from there, that I am more lovable if I do what other people tell me to do. So I want to remove that belief system from the individuation in our heart. I have to be really careful when I take it out. And it's nearly as if you have something that is very fragile, and you have to go very carefully. So this happens a lot to me recently. I'm just doing I'm just putting my hands in the heart and taking that out, but very carefully. I mean, we're just putting it out into the universe and letting the universe transform it to positive energy. I'm getting a picture to sprinkle all over the world, just to sprinkle it. Positive energy, happy, joyful energy. Okay. And the remains I hear, we can just let all the remains of that charge come out through our diaphragm and our intestines. So do we need to do anything more on that subsession on the active memory? No, we don't. So I go back up again to the 5 senses. And here I see, getting a picture. Caroline said you sense in your body. I get a lot of different things. Sometimes I sense in my body. Sometimes I see things. I get like symbols or I get pictures. And every now and again I get a voice, but pictures are very common for me. So here I'm getting like the 5 senses as if they're fighting a little bit about who has the biggest say. So I want to sort of just synchronize them and balance them and give them equally as much space. And also, as if we're increasing one when it's needed, rather than another one taking over when it's not needed. I hope that makes sense. I don't need to do anything more on that. But I want to link all the 5 senses. I don't know why, but I want to link them to my hands or to our hands. There's something about reaching out and to help and to help ourselves, to give help and to help ourselves. But it's not about generosity. This is about personal responsibility. How do we help ourselves? It's like that. Take our hands, put them in our heart. What do we do? What do we actively do? Because the hands are a lot to do about activity. We use them all the time. So what do we actively do to help ourselves? And what do we actively do when we feel stuck? So linking that to thalamus and the prefrontal cortex. To help us to get ideas from what we have heard, what we have learned, and bring it out to the now to help, because we have all the answers inside. Mm-hmm. And linking it back to the heart, brain this time. And I'm getting nothing more on that. So that's the parallel formula. And I'll give it back to Caroline.
Thank you. Thank you. That was super powerful. So I want to put everything that we've already said before to one side. And I want to go into our intuition, which who knows what that is or where it is, but I'm feeling where it's actually taking me is to the heart. So this sense that, much like Marie just said, the answers are within us, but our ability to listen to ourselves and act on what we know to be true for me in this situation and in this situation and in this situation. So I don't know why my intuition is in my heart, but that's where it's for this session. And it's kind of shouting at me like, you're not listening, you're not. So there's a real anger from our own intuitive wisdom saying, well, why aren't you listening to me? So there's a very strong desire from our own internal wisdom to be heard. And maybe that's what the Easter energy is all about. It's about, new beginnings, doing things a different way. So rather than immediately grabbing your smartphone or ringing the doctor, or maybe tune into yourself and just say, well, if I sit with this for a little while, maybe I'll find the answer that I need. And I'm also hearing, that's really interesting. So yes, listen to that enormous amount of wisdom that's inside yourself, but also listen to your ancestors and your forefathers and the people that have been before and have made us who we are today. There's so much sacred wisdom I'm hearing in folklore, and an apple a day keeps the doctor away, that sort of thing, you know what I mean? But obviously that and more complicated things, but it just feels as though intuition, which for this session is in the heart, is saying, please listen to me, but also listen to those who have gone before us. I love that. So I want to take out the anger from the intuition, because I feel as though that is, Marie often uses the word individuation. So that really is who I am, my true self, my inner self. And I want us to learn, or rather this session, I'm encouraging people to really listen to their own guidance. There we are. So I want to link that to the liver. And this is the exact opposite. So here in the liver, what I'm being shown is that we all try and manipulate, I think is the right word, everybody else to do things the way that we want them to, because it makes my life more comfortable. And we may be doing that from a parent's point of view, from a friend's point of view, from a boss's point of view. We may be doing that because this is what I want. But there is a strong element within the liver of, it's really manipulating, but planning it so that I get what I want by controlling behavior. So not listening to myself and trying to control other people. Wow. So what do I need to do in the liver? Well, that's really interesting. So there's a lot of soul energy in the liver. There's a lot of life force energy in the liver. And we're looking also about the planning and organizing other people. But I feel like there's a disconnect, if you like, in modern society from what it is our soul, how it is our soul communicates with us. And I'm seeing in the liver particularly, if I'm really not listening to myself, that's when I'm really controlling other people to get what I want. So I'm trying to bring about here a harmony or a balance between, well, keeping my nose out of other people's business for a start, but also listening again on another level, so in the heart and in the liver, to myself, my soul, my inner guidance, and my intuition. And the liver's really giving me some welly at the moment. So that means like really hurting, because I think we do manipulate other people a lot more than perhaps we're willing to admit that we do on a daily basis. This is, again, because of the way we've been taught, but actually what other people want to do with their life, with their choices, with their decisions, is really nothing to do with me. Okay. So heart to the liver is in a bubble, and then normally we go along a line, but I'm doing heart, liver, and I'm going down, and I want to go into the pancreas. And the pancreas is really about, so it's about worry, but it's also about allowing myself the sweetness of life. And I'm feeling here with this, we're literally addressing giving away my power, not taking responsibility for myself. But I want to include in this triangle, if you like, of I'm manipulating other people, even though I don't really want to admit that's what I'm doing to get what I want. It's allowing in a few sweetnesses of life. So I think the long and the short of this one is being happy with what I've got. So being a lot more content with a lot less than we are traditionally told that we need or told that we have to expect. So how it's showing itself to me here is very much a kind of a stepping back, if you like, from modern life and all its gadgets and trinkets and the things that just end up in landfill. And that's my political thing. Oh, sorry. But, stepping back from everything I think I need to find out who I am and be happy with less. So sweetness in this instance is about, do I really need all of that? So giving away my power to organizations, but also filling my life with junk, which doesn't really make me happy. So that's included in the controlling other people and that whole thing. Very interesting. And I just want to link that, which is now in a parcel, into my lungs. Really, really heavy duty amount of grief. And the aspect of grief that I'm looking at within this session is knowing I could have done better. Oh, that's really, really heavy. Knowing I could have stood up for myself one time, or could have said the right thing in that situation, or could have made the decision myself, or listened to my intuition. The times that we don't do that, we often remember those, don't we? So there seems to be a lot of grief around. I'm really sorry that it's very windy today and it sounds like there's a child screaming. I promise there isn't. A lot of grief around not living my authentic self. And I think that's on its own. I don't think I'm linking that to anything. And that's what I'm getting. So did you want to add to that in any way?
I don't really. It's just something that keeps coming up again and again. And I don't know whether we should have that like a little satellite around it all. And it's, I'm sure all of you have heard it, but it's, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? So a lot of times we argue, with other people about things. I am right, I am right, I am right. And let it go. And
okay, so
in wisdom. So we have that like a satellite around us. Yeah.
Okay, that was very interesting.
So take a deep breath, everybody, and hold your heart. And tap both sides of your brain and the head to let it start analyzing and negotiating what's happening in the body. And I can stand up as I usually do. Right? Tap the heart, deep breath in and out, and let the heart just feel what's it like to relate to what we just have said and what we have gone through. So tap around your navel on your tummy and let the enteric brain that goes from the throat, tongue down to your rectum, and let it just decide now, change.
I feel very peaceful. So Is any of that still a priority? Big no. Is body talk still a priority? No. Is there any homework? It's interesting because I just feel as though I need to really look at myself. One of my phrases is gaze at my navel. So really look at where I have given away to somebody else or another organization or the media or politicians, or the power that I have within you. And my hope for you is that this session will allow you to stand firmly on your own 2 feet in your own intuition, which is going to be different for everybody listening to this, but it feels very so. Yeah, so I'm just inviting you to go look at the status of your own personal power, I suppose. So is that the end of the session? It is. So thank you very much for coming along with us on the journey today. We really hope this has helped. Obviously, every week we tune in to what we think the subject matter might be. If you have any thoughts for us or anything you'd particularly like us to work on, please leave a comment below. It's a brand new channel, so if you'd like to share, like, or comment, that would be much appreciated. But that's all I have today from me. Anything you'd like to add, Marie?
I think you've said it all. I just also want to thank everybody for tuning in. You can listen again and again if you want to, because sometimes the first time you listen is a bit, what did she say or what happened? So take a deep breath, sit down somewhere nice or lie down and listen again. So see you next week.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.